family died after seeing their lifeless bodies in photographs that were put online. They were reportedly killed by a Russian mortar attack. Our prayers are with that father, his entire family, all the people of Ukraine, the innocent men, women, and children that are under fire tonight. And I think it's clear. Americans are asking, well, what is our role here? Let me be clear what I think America's role should be and needs to be. No matter what happens in Ukraine, we cannot have American boots on the ground. That cannot be an option. World War III, we got to do our very best to try and prevent that from happening, because that's not going to end well. And frankly, there have been far too many occasions, and this is the most important point, when politicians in Washington, both sides of the aisle, in the U.S., are eager to start wars, but then they don't have the resolve to actually win the wars they start. Then as time passes and the wars become less popular and become politicized, and these very same politicians that sent our national treasure, our men and women, to go fight these wars, they decide, never mind, abort the mission. Oops, sorry, we made a mistake. Let's get out as quickly as possible. And what about the precious loss of life in the meantime? Now, what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq can never happen again. And thank God we have new military, modern technology that can prevent that from happening again. And don't forget, it's day today, 207, since Joe Biden abandoned Americans behind enemy lines in the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan. Now, many other people are asking, do we as a country have any moral obligation to do something when we see war criminals like Vladimir Putin bombing, eviscerating entire neighborhoods? You saw the report just now about literally attacking a maternity ward, killing women and children indiscriminately. Does America have a moral obligation? My answer is yes, we do. We have an obligation to help innocent human beings, especially women and children. And in this case, the Ukrainian people, they have now demonstrated their willingness to fight for their country and protect their fellow countrymen. Now, this is where we can and we should help them. We can help the Ukrainians by providing the arms that they need to protect their people. That's how we help them. Are we choosing sides? Yeah, we are. We're choosing the side of the sovereign. And albeit I've been critical of Ukraine's government at times, political corruption has run up until Zelensky pretty rampant. But this is a sovereign country that was invaded. And as Americans, we're really, if we're on anybody's side, we're on the side of innocent civilians brutally murdered by Vladimir Putin and his minions. Good for the world if the Russian military or his own advisors or the people of Russia step up and do the right thing and take that guy out by any means necessary. When you invade a sovereign country, this should be a new rule, and you kill innocent men, women, and children, which he has done, you forfeit your right to lead a country, and frankly, you also forfeit your right to live. The world would be better and safer without Putin in it, period. Now, if we've learned anything from the last century, where well over 100 million people, human souls, died because of isms, communism, Nazism, fascism, the sooner you cut off the head of a maniacal killer and you cut off the head of a snake, then you start saving innocent lives. Now, we're going to have a lot more on Putin's bloody invasion of Ukraine coming up. But first, we turn to an important issue right here at home, and that is now for the third straight day, gas prices at the pump just hit another all-time record high. Joe Biden says it's all Putin's fault. Nothing he can do about it. He said those very words. Now, Joe Biden is lying. We didn't get here overnight. In fact, prices at the pump, as you all know, have been rising ever since Joe Biden took office. Now, why have they been rising? Because Biden did everything he possibly could with the stroke of a pen to limit all oil and gas production and exploration right here in the U.S., just like he promised he'd do. Take a look.
If we don't start using fossil fuels,
we're all dead. Doing away with any subsidies for fossil fuels, number one. Number two, holding them liable for what they have done, particularly in those cases where you're underserved neighborhoods and you know the deal, okay? And by the way, when they don't or when they're deliberate, put them in jail.
Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
So it's going just as planned. So Joe killed the Keystone XL pipeline. Prices went up. Joe banned drilling in Anwar. Prices went up. Joe blocked new permits on federal lands and auctions on federal lands. And guess what? Prices went up. Joe rejoined the Paris Climate Accords. We're paying a fortune. And China and India, viewed as developing countries, and pay next to nothing. He reinstated caps on American production. He added environmental regulations that are almost impossible for energy companies to work, and prices went up. And Biden's radical agenda left America and our allies vulnerable. But there is some good news. Despite everything that he did to stymie oil and gas production, his administration can still take steps to increase production, lower the cost at the pump, lower the cost of every item we buy at every store we go to, lower the cost.
In the state of our world, we really need God's help. Get your free prayers coin today, kink in the description.